Hello, Aries. Listen closely because what you're about to hear is more than an astrological message. It's a mirror reflecting the journey of your very soul. A rain of fortune is beginning to fall into your life, but with it comes an unexpected test, a betrayal that shakes your heart. And yet remember this, in every crack there is light, and that light is what opens the true path before you. This is not just a story of loss or pain. It's the story of rebirth where you learn to choose yourself, and where the universe chooses you. So now, let us step into the very first chapter, where the rain of fortune begins to fall, carrying both blessings and the deepest trials of the soul. Aries, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you're standing under a strange sky. Above you, not gray clouds, not heavy rain, but golden rays falling down like silver drops, like glittering coins. You reach out your hand and the first feeling is surprise. Then comes awe. Money, opportunities, blessings you once prayed for, once dreamed of, are now pouring down so fast you can barely hold them. This is grace, a gift from the universe, from God himself after the long years of struggle. But Aries, listen carefully. No blessing arrives only for you to enjoy without care. Every gift comes with a trial, and that trial isn't in the money or the opportunities. It's in your heart. How will you use this wealth? Will you make it the foundation for a meaningful life, or will you let it sweep you away in illusions? This is the real question, the one God whispers to your soul. I've seen many people just like you suddenly step into a rain of fortune. At first, their eyes shined bright, their hands trembled with joy. But soon after, I saw their eyes grow empty, their souls hollow, because they believed wealth was the destination. But the truth is, it's only a doorway leading into a deeper lesson. The lesson of living true to yourself. Aries, true wealth isn't measured by your bank account. It's measured by how you use what you've been given to spread love, to heal, to build a life that lets you hold your head high when you look in the mirror. Wealth isn't about having more, it's about knowing enough, sharing enough, living with a heart that stays clear and pure. Think of God. He never gives you too little, and he never gives so much that you lose yourself. He gives just enough for you to learn gratitude, to learn how to stand strong, to learn how to become a light in a world still heavy with shadows. And today, as you stand in this rain of fortune, he wants to know, which path will you choose? Maybe you once thought, if I'm rich, I'll be happy. But happiness doesn't come from money. It comes from meaning. A person may live in a small home, yet feel overflowing joy because they live in truth. Another may live in a mansion, but each night lie awake empty because they've lost their soul. Aries, this rain of fortune is grace, but it's also a mirror showing you your own heart. Will you keep your humility? Will you still look up each morning and thank God? Will you remember that money is a tool, not the end itself? I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and place your hand on your heart. Ask yourself, if God gave me everything today, what would I do with it? That answer will shape your path. Aries, I know you are strong, and I know deep inside you don't just long for comfort for yourself. You long to live a life of worth, a life where when you look back you can smile and say, I did not live in vain. That is your true value. But listen carefully now, because in the dazzling rain of gold, something begins to stir in the shadows. A sound, faint, almost nothing, yet enough to make your heart skip. The golden rain blinds you with its brilliance, but the darkness, it's moving closer. You see it. Blessings always come with trials. God doesn't test you to break you. He tests you so you can rise, so you can see what is real and what is false. And sometimes that trial takes the form of a familiar smile, a hand that once held yours, an embrace that once made you trust. Aries, prepare yourself, because alongside the rain of fortune, a shadow is rising, and it will come from the place you least expect. A familiar smile, an embrace that once felt warm, a gaze that once made you believe there was love, companionship, a shoulder to lean on. But behind all those familiar things was the cold blade of betrayal. Betrayal never comes from a stranger. It comes from the closest place. From the ones you gave your heart to, the ones you shared your pain with, the ones you thought would never hurt you. And that's why, when it happens, the wound cuts deeper than the body, it strikes the soul. It makes you doubt everything, even yourself. You ask, why did they do it? Why would someone who once held my hand through the storm now turn away, even try to steal my light? You search for answers in your memories in every moment that's passed. You want to blame, to resent, to cry out to the heavens that this is unfair. But then, in the silence, you begin to hear another sound. Not the screams of anger, but the whisper of truth. That betrayal does not come to destroy you. It comes to reveal who truly belongs on your path and who was only a shadow passing through. The deepest pain is not losing someone else. It's realizing you gave your trust to the wrong place. That realization cuts like a blade, but it is also medicine. Because only when you see where you misplaced your trust can you learn to place it again. And this time, you place it where it belongs in your own heart, in the light God planted in you from the very beginning. People often say betrayal teaches us our true worth, and it does. It shows you that you are worth far more than the way others treated you. You no longer live to please. You no longer bend yourself to fit someone else's expectations. Instead, you rise, you lift your head high, and you say to yourself, I am worthy of honesty, of real love, of arms that hold no shadow. In betrayal, there is a cleansing. It's like a storm stripping the old leaves from a tree, leaving it bare. Yes, but making space for new buds to grow. Without betrayal, maybe you would still be naive, still trusting false smiles. Without betrayal, maybe you wouldn't learn to look deeper into someone's eyes, to listen closer to the voice of your own soul. Let me say this clearly. You do not lose when you are betrayed. The loser is the one who chose betrayal because they let the darkness consume them. But you are given the chance to grow, to shine light into the very place that was once filled with shadow. Maybe right now a face comes to mind. Someone who still makes your chest tighten when you think of them. Someone you believed would never hurt you. I want you to take a deep breath and instead of feeding your anger, try to see it through another lens. Maybe they are simply reflecting back a lesson you needed to learn. Maybe God allowed it, not to break you, but to lift you higher. In the nights you cried alone, in the moments you felt the whole world had turned away, there was one presence you never truly lost, the presence of God. He was still there, quietly placing his hand on your shoulder, reminding you that you were never alone. And in that betrayal, you were given the chance to feel his love deeper than ever before. One day you will look back, and you will smile. Not because betrayal was good, but because you found blessing in the pain. You found yourself stronger, wiser, closer to your true essence than ever before. Betrayal is not the end. It is only a comma, opening a new chapter in your journey. A chapter where you are no longer led by the darkness of others, but guided by the light within yourself. And right there in the place you thought you would fall, a turning point begins to open, carrying you into a deeper layer of your story. A place where destiny shifts, and the true power within you is called forth. When everything feels like it's collapsing, when trust has been torn apart by betrayal, a silence falls over everything. It's no longer the noise of broken promises. It's no longer the frantic heartbeat of pain. It's a silence deep as a canyon. And in that silence, you realize something. No one is coming to save you. No hand will reach out from the void. No white knight will appear on the horizon. And in that harsh truth, a miracle begins to spark. That miracle has a name, you. For so long, you've waited for someone else to lift you up. You believed someone would see your pain and hold you close. But destiny doesn't work that way. Destiny chooses for you to rise on your own, to see a strength you never thought you had. Tragedy isn't meant to bury you. It's an invitation to grow, to awaken, to look straight into the inner power God planted in you from the very beginning. Remember the stories in Scripture, how many times people thought they'd been abandoned, that God had turned his back. But he never left. He stood quietly waiting for his children to find wings on their own shoulders. Because only when there's no crutch left, do you finally see the strength you've carried all along. Maybe right now you're sitting in the dark, your eyes swollen, your chest aching. But if you look closely, you'll see it, a tiny light flickering inside your chest. That light doesn't come from outside. It's a flame that's always been there, waiting to be fanned alive. Every failure, every betrayal, every tear, all of it has been the wind and the ember fueling that flame. And then you see the truth. You don't need anyone to save you. You are the one who saves yourself. You are the hero of your own story. Not because you've never fallen, but because you fell and you still stood again. Not because you don't know pain, but because you dared to turn pain into power. The world out there may see you as small, but your soul knows you are a warrior sent to clear the path. And sometimes to realize that, you must first lose every false support. This is the turning point of destiny, where you thought you lost everything, but in truth you found it all. Where betrayal becomes opportunity, where failure turns into a stepping stone. Every tear that falls is not wasted. It waters the seed of strength so tomorrow you bloom into a new version of yourself. One day you'll look back and see what felt like the worst thing was actually the thing that saved you. The betrayal that once suffocated you was the invisible hand pushing you toward freedom. The ending that seemed cruel opened into a more complete beginning, and then you'll understand why God allowed it. Not to strip you of love, but to show you never had to beg for love from anyone. You are love, not to make you chase strength outside, but to show you it's been flowing in your veins all along. Let your heart believe this. Every tragedy is only the start of growth. Every betrayal hides a miracle inside it. Every fall is just a launch pad to rise higher. And once you understand that, you no longer see life through fearful eyes. You begin to see through the eyes of a soul that has awakened. Maybe now you can feel it. What's behind you is no longer a burden, but a gift. Those who left are no longer lost, but release. And you, in the moment you thought you were weakest, step out as a radiant warrior. But listen, Aries, to step fully into that strength, recognition is not enough. Strength only lives when it's fed by action. Like a fire, if you don't add wood, it slowly fades. And that's why the next part of your path is waiting. A path where freedom is not only in your mind, but in your hands. Where you cut off what is toxic and open the road to true liberation. Can you hear it? Your heartbeat is drumming a new rhythm, calling you forward. Toward freedom. Picture this, you're sitting in a quiet room. In front of you, a blank sheet of paper, a pen, and a candle flickering softly. No noise, no one interrupting. Just you, your heart, and your breath. In that moment, you begin to write down a name. The name that makes your chest ache every time it crosses your mind. The name tied to broken promises, to tears, to sleepless nights. You write, and the letters come out trembling, dragging memories and pain with them. This is the first step of release. Many think it's just a mental exercise, just a ritual, but it's more than that. It's an act with deep power. Because when you write it down, you acknowledge the wound is real. When you look at that name, you face the truth that they left a mark on you. And when you choose to release that name from your life, you're not just letting go of a person. You're letting go of a piece of darkness in your own soul. I've seen people hold on to their wounds for years, refusing to let go, because they thought forgiveness meant accepting. They thought forgiveness meant giving the other person a place in their life forever. But the truth is, forgiveness is not holding on. Forgiveness is letting go so you no longer carry them like a heavy backpack on your shoulders. Forgiveness is telling the universe, I choose not to stay trapped anymore. I choose myself. I choose freedom. Aries, when you write that name and then burn it or tear it into pieces and release it to the wind, it isn't magic to make that person disappear. It's your declaration. I will not let the past define me anymore. I will not let their shadow cover my light. The universe is always listening. When you send out such a clear message, everything around you begins to shift. You'll feel lighter. You'll breathe deeper. And new doors will begin to open like light pouring into a room once it's been cleared. Imagine this: one morning you wake up and feel peace in your chest. The memories don't sting anymore. The old images don't shake you. You can even smile when you think of them, not from pain but from gratitude. Grateful they taught you that you deserve so much more. Grateful they gave you the reason to finally choose yourself. I want to stress this: release is not just a ritual, it's a turning point of the soul. It's the moment you rise and say, I will not betray myself anymore. I once stayed silent while others stepped on me. I once convinced myself I was fine even while breaking inside. But from today I choose honesty with my heart. I choose light. I choose me. Don't be afraid that letting go means losing everything. The truth is, when you let go, you gain it all. You gain peace. You gain freedom. You gain a heart wide open to receive real love. God never wanted you to carry someone else's burden forever. He wants you to walk lightly so you can soar higher. And he smiles when he sees you write it down, burn it, and say, I choose me. Let this ritual be your prayer. It doesn't need to be fancy. No one needs to witness it. It's just you and God, just your heart, truly willing. And when you do it, you'll feel a chain drop away, silent but undeniable. And in that moment, you are no longer who you were. You've unlocked a new chapter where you're not a victim but the creator of your destiny. Aries, release is the key. And when you turn it, a door will open. Not into emptiness, but into yourself, stronger, truer, brighter than ever before. And as that door opens, you'll realize this journey isn't ending here. Because after releasing the darkness, you must look deeper within and face a greater truth. Sometimes, the cruelest betrayal isn't from others but from yourself, when you once ignored the call of your own soul. There's a truth many people avoid, because it hurts more than any wound another person could leave. We can forgive the one who betrayed us. We can heal after losing a relationship. But the hardest thing is realizing that at some point, we turned our back on our own inner voice. Think back, how many times did your intuition whisper, "Don't trust anymore, don't keep walking this road"? And yet you stayed silent. You ignored it just because your heart wanted to hold on. How many times were you exhausted, but still wore a smile so the world would think you were fine? How many times did you silence the cry of your own soul just to please someone else? When others betray you, that's only a test. But when you betray your own heart, that's the wound that's hardest to heal. Because it doesn't just cost you another person, it costs you yourself. The one person you must never lie to is you. When you say, "I'm fine," while you're breaking inside, you lock yourself in an invisible cage. When you deny your true feelings, you trap yourself in darkness. And every night when no one is watching, you feel it empty, restless, like a hollow shell. God didn't create you to live this way. He didn't give you this soul so you could wear a mask forever. He wants you to live true even if it hurts, even if it makes you cry, even if it means breaking down. Because only when you live in truth can you truly heal. I know facing yourself isn't easy. Sometimes saying, "I'm in pain," feels harder than staying silent. Sometimes admitting you chose wrong or trusted the wrong person feels like the heaviest burden of all. But Aries' truth is always light. It may blind you, it may sting, but only light opens the path for you to walk. So stop wearing the mask of "I'm okay." You don't need to prove your strength to anyone. Real strength isn't in holding it in. It's in daring to face it, daring to admit you're weak, daring to cry, daring to let go of pretending. And when you dare to do that, that's when you're truly free. There's something miraculous that happens when you live in truth. Your heart starts to beat in its natural rhythm. Your body feels lighter. Your soul no longer weighed down by layers of disguise. And in that truth, you find the strength you've been searching for all along. So listen to yourself now. Is there something you've been denying? Is there a voice inside you that's been buried under false silence? It might be a dream you once hid away. It might be a pain you didn't want to face. It might even be a love you never dared to admit. Whatever it is, be brave enough to look at it, because once you face it, you are no longer bound. People think betrayal from others is what breaks us, but the truth is, inner betrayal is the deepest wound. And only when you dare to light that room inside will you stop being imprisoned. Aries, it's time to step out of the darkness of pretending. Lift your head high and tell yourself, "I will not betray my soul again." Let every step you take from here be proof that you chose truth even if the road is thorny, because that road will lead you back to yourself. And when you do this, something extraordinary will happen. You will feel reborn, as if the old skin has fallen away and a new self, clearer, stronger, brighter, is being born. And from that place of rebirth, you will see clearly, the journey isn't over. Because when a new Aries is born, a greater gift is waiting, a gift the universe has prepared, as a sacred mark of your honesty and your courage. There is a moment many call rebirth. Not rebirth in a new body, but rebirth right here in this same body. When your soul is washed clean, when your inner light bursts open, when you know you can no longer live the way you once did. That is the moment a new Aries is born. This Aries no longer bows to scraps of love or half-hearted compromise. No longer hides inside relationships where you are disrespected, used, or manipulated. No longer nods in silence just to keep a false peace. The new Aries lifts their head high, walks with clarity, and keeps a heart wide open. You no longer accept crumbs, the leftovers of life's banquet. You are ready to live fully with what you truly deserve. On this new journey, you realize wealth is not measured only in money. Money can buy a house, but not peace in your chest. Money can build a castle, but not true trust. Wealth, for a reborn Aries, is the freedom to breathe deep without fear of loss. It's the smile that doesn't need to pretend. It's knowing that love flows from freedom, not from control. You see now that true treasure is freedom, freedom in your mind, freedom in your emotions, freedom to choose what your soul aligns with. You see that real love does not shrink you, it lifts you higher. And true relationships do not drain you, they give you strength to walk forward. This is the wealth the universe has been saving for you, because when you choose yourself, you don't just change your own life. You become a light inspiring others to live honestly, to lay down their burdens, to step out of lies. Every step you take, every decision you make, is proof that happiness begins with being true to yourself. You may not see it yet, but your energy is already spreading. Every time you smile from real peace, someone else is inspired. Every time you refuse a toxic relationship, someone else learns how to set boundaries. Every time you choose the harder but truer road, someone still in the dark feels they too can rise. The new Aries is not a lonely soul. You are a point of healing for the community. Because when you change, the world around you begins to change. When you shine, you don't just light yourself, you guide those still wandering. And one day, you will stand before the mirror. You will look into your own eyes and see no trace of who you once were. The one who endured in silence. The one who lived in fear. The one who stayed small. All gone, replaced by a radiant warrior, confident, calm, at peace. That is the Aries the universe has always dreamed you would become. But the journey does not end here, because after rebirth, one more step awaits. The moment where you not only live in truth, but boldly declare it. Not just to the world, but to your own soul. A declaration that is not only for you, but for everyone watching your light. And now, after all the depths we've walked through together, this journey closes with a sacred moment, the moment of declaration. Because a journey only truly becomes a turning point when you not only listen, not only reflect, but dare to speak it out, dare to affirm it with your own voice. Let your heart lift this declaration, not with trembling, but with the certainty of a soul reborn. Write it down. Let it echo in the comments as a mark, as a commitment. I, Aries, am reborn in my true power and open the doors to my new destiny. These are not just words, they are the flame you light for yourself. And when thousands of those flames burn together, the Aries community becomes a sky of fire where no one has to walk in the dark alone. I encourage you to share your story. Tell us of the time you were betrayed or the turning point that changed your life. Tell us how you fell and how you stood again. Because when you share, it's not only you who is freed. Someone out there, someone in their own night may find hope shining from your light. This is how a community heals together, lifts each other, and walks forward as one. From the deepest place in my heart, thank you, Aries family, for walking this journey with such open hearts. Not everyone dares to face their wounds. Not everyone dares to be reborn in truth. But you did. And your courage has already inspired so many other souls. Before we close, I want to leave you with this blessing. May you step into your new destiny with courage, with peace, and with abundance. May you walk forward with strength, with calm, with a spirit of fullness. And may the light within you always shine, not only for yourself, but for every soul still searching in the dark. And now, Aries, this journey closes, but not as an ending. It is only the beginning of a new chapter, where you live true, love true, and prosper true. You are ready to step through the door of your destiny. And I believe you will not walk alone.